Hey, what's up, guys? Today I'll show you a science fiction series, Altered Carbon, Season 1, Episode 1. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. Takeshi and his partner go to the safe house after a mission. As his partner cleans, Takeshi has smoke in the bedroom. Suddenly, he walks to a window showing a sunset in paradise. With a touch on the window glass, the hologram changes into the true view outside. Takeshi thoughtfully looks at the skyscrapers in the futuristic metropolis in the pouring rain, and thinks the ubiquitous high technologies just make the foggy city look grim and dreary. A moment later, through the chip implanted into his eyes to provide the X-ray vision, he notices someone is coming outside. He sees a dozen heavily armed men appear in the doorway and get ready to ambush him and his partner. Scanning their weapons, Takeshi is sure they are the Colonial Tactical Assault Corps Praetorians, and 12 of them carry deadly weapons. Takeshi informs his partner right away and reaches for their weapons. However, when they just take their guns, the SeaTacs blast out the wall to break in and open fire on them. The house is raked with fire and badly damaged in a second. Thanks to his excellent ability and the X-ray vision, it's easy peasy for Takeshi to take a few guys out with the energy weapon in no time. On the other side, while his partner tries to throw an explosive device at the soldiers, she gets shot badly, lying unconscious on the ground. Takeshi is very worried about her and runs to rescue her. Due to her severe injuries, it's obvious that Takeshi can't stick with their original plan. Meanwhile, the SeaTacs take the chance to corner Takeshi and blow him to bits, but they shoot at him, avoiding vulnerable body areas, since they're ordered to capture him alive. At long last, Takeshi is overpowered. The commander of the SeaTacs tells Takeshi he is arrested under many charges, including treason. Takeshi is a tough guy, so he still tries to resist and refuses to reveal the information the commander wants. The commander gets pissed off, and then shoots Takeshi's partner through her cortical stack, and so now she is truly dead. In fact, Takeshi is a citizen of the United Nations Interstellar Protectorate, and humans have discovered technology that redefines life itself by use of a chip called cortical stack. Each citizen has a cortical stack installed at the base of the brain. Their consciousness is stored on it and transferable from one body called sleeve to the next, as everything that makes you who you are is stored on the stack, and even if your body or sleeve dies, as long as the stack is unharmed, your consciousness can be uploaded into a new sleeve with the same stack. This process is called Resleeving. Essentially, you can achieve immortality by inhabiting different sleeves, though the sleeves don't physically look the same. At the same time, it doesn't matter what body you are resleeved into, even one being of the opposite gender. That means the only way to really kill someone is to blow out his stack. In order to give Takeshi a lesson, the commander blows out the stack of Takeshi's partner. Takeshi is truly outraged, but he is unable to fight back, and at last he is imprisoned. In this future world, imprisonment means that the criminal's stack is taken out of the sleeve and kept dormant in cold storage for decades. Since it's the criminal's digitized consciousness that is put in storage, he can't see or touch anything, but still can feel the time is slipping by. He will live a boring life in the darkness until that day after serving their criminal sentences. Then he will be resleeved, and this resleeving is often done using whatever sleeves are available. From the moment Takeshi got caught, he's sure his sentence will have no end date. Yet one day, he wakes up with a disgusting smell, and then finds he is like a fish kept in a bag filled with water. The moment he sees a strange guy untying the bag, Takeshi reacts violently, beating the guy up. He doesn't calm down until he's told that as of today, he is free temporarily. Then Takeshi learns he has been incarcerated for about 250 years. He is not supposed to be released at this time. Instead, someone bails him out and sponsors his military-grade sleeve with combat muscle memory. Looking at his strong white male sleeve, Takeshi is sure it's really expensive and definitely not for free. Later, it turns out the sponsor is Lawrence, the CEO of Bancroft Industries. In order to dig out the intention behind Lauren's behavior, Takeshi agrees to meet him. Upon release from the prison, Beauty approaches Takeshi and informs him she's his escort. Then they get in a limo ship soaring up into the air. Hovering above the city, Takeshi soon finds he is brought to a very different place beyond the clouds, and it's the Aryan where the wealthy live. Moments later, they reach Lauren's house and are greeted by some bodyguards, but the bodyguards are hostile towards Beauty, warning her not to move forward. In the conversation that follows, Takeshi learns Beauty's true identity is a Bay City Police Department officer. Actually, the son of Lawrence should have picked up Takeshi, but got arrested by Beauty for drink driving. After questioning the boy, Beauty was full of questions about why Lawrence would want to meet a man convicted of various charges. Therefore, she pretended to be Takeshi's escort to grim him for information, but she got nothing until now. Beauty leaves with disappointment, and Takeshi finally meets Lawrence. The reason why Lawrence freed Takeshi is that he wants Takeshi to solve his own murder. he guides Takeshi to a wall covered with some blood and discusses details of his murder. Here is the crime scene, and the blood belongs to Lawrence himself, who is the only victim in his own murder. That day, someone shot Lawrence through the stack with a gun belonging to Lawrence. However, the gun was kept in a biometric safe that only Lawrence and his wife could open, which meant either he shot himself or he was shot by his wife. The regular cops had no clues, and therefore Lawrence found Takeshi, who was a former elite interstellar warrior, wanting to employ Takeshi as a detective. It's said that interstellar warriors used to be the most powerful fighting force in the galaxy, and they were a class of super soldiers with a bunch of cool and elite powers. Yet they were destroyed after a defeat on the mission, and Takeshi is the sole surviving interstellar warrior. Lawrence needs Takeshi's unique and elite skills of an interstellar warrior, so that Takeshi will be well rewarded in many ways. Then Lawrence shows Takeshi his presidential pardon. In the Protectorate, Lawrence is a man of great influence, and hence he can guarantee Takeshi will be granted his freedom after completing the task. Meanwhile, Lawrence will give him another top-of-the-line sleeve, as well as 50 million in UN currency as a reward. The fortune will allow Takeshi to have a comfortable and wealthy life. But he is a man with a backbone, considering it's not worth risking his life for working for a rich man. However, before he refuses the job, Takeshi wants to figure out why Lawrence is still alive. According to Lawrence's story, his stack has been destroyed. Therefore, it doesn't make sense that Lawrence is still alive. Lawrence seems happy and proudly shows Takeshi a telescope. Then Lawrence motions for Takeshi to look at the sky through the telescope. Lawrence explains it's a military satellite which he has bought. Meanwhile, he also purchased another cool technology of the full-spectrum DHF remote storage backup. With the help of the combination of the satellite and the technology, he survives the murder. Specifically, his consciousness can be backed up to the satellite automatically every 48 hours. That day after his stack was destroyed, he downloaded his consciousness from the satellite into a clone of his original body, and then he comes back. Yet the catch is that his memories are limited to 48 hours before his murder, since he was shot 10 minutes before a backup. As a result, the revived Lawrence doesn't remember what happened during his murder. After hearing Lawrence saying Takeshi already has a general judgment on the murder, but he doesn't want to put himself in danger for some money. Then he frankly tells Lawrence he isn't interested in the job, and that it's okay if he will just go back to be incarcerated. Lawrence shows his respect for Takeshi's choice, saying Takeshi can take one day to think about the offer before making the decision. Suffering from 250 years of imprisonment in the darkness, Takeshi wants to have some fun while he gets temporary freedom. Later, he gets back on the ground and goes into the city. In an alley, Takeshi gets to the Raven, an AI hotel, where no fantasy is beyond reach as long as the guest has the money. Inside, while the AI proprietor helps him with the check-in procedure, Takeshi has a gun pointed at his neck. When he turns around, a Russian mobster and his goons approach Takeshi, wanting to kill him. Then the goons rough him up, and the proprietor tells him that as long as he signs in as a guest, he can get every amenity of the Raven, including protection. Without hesitation, Takeshi pays for the hotel bill, which triggers the full protection service clause of the hotel. As laser-guided machine guns drop from the ceiling, the proprietor grabs a shotgun and starts blasting. At last, the Russian mobster and his goons are all wiped out. Later, Beauty is in charge of the investigation into the killings at the Raven. Through Beauty, Takeshi learns that the boss of the goons, the Russian mobster, was a hitman who worked a lot for the Yakuza. Since he trusted no one, he illegally copied his own stack and double-sleeved it into a twin to create two versions of himself, which means Takeshi will likely see the Russian mobster again. Takeshi feels awful about what happened to him on the first day after his release and thinks someone may not want him to involve in Lawrence's case, so the Russian mobster was sent there to kill him. Meanwhile, he doesn't want to work for Lawrence or go back to prison, for he has had enough of the boring life there. At last, he plans to shoot through his own stack. However, right before pulling the trigger, he has visions of his mentor, a leader of the Interstellar Warriors. In the visions, they have a long conversation, which helps him realize that he shouldn't choose to die while he can live. Therefore, Takeshi gives up committing suicide and decides to accept Lawrence's offer. But before that, he goes to a tattoo shop to get his dragon tattoo reapplied to his arm, which is a symbol only used by the Interstellar Warriors. Finally, Takeshi makes the call to Lawrence, saying that he will take the job. This is Angry Mustache Movie. Stay safe and enjoy your fun for today.